We are back to the Hindu editorial article of the 26th of August 2024. This article is titled New Age Gateway Devices, the latest health threat. What is gateway device and everything else we'll deal with in this article. This is divided into 4 parts including the introduction. The highlight of this article is that portrayed as offering a healthier alternative to smoking and quitting tobacco, these devices are now causing a public health crisis among young people. We'll delve into this in a deeper manner. So, moving on to the article, what happens when a portrayed healthy alternative turns out to be more dangerous than the original? This is precisely what is happening with new age gateway devices such as e-cigarettes, vaping pens, electronic nicotine delivery system or ENDS, HNB devices, that is heat not burn devices, and other heated tobacco products or HTPs. So what is vaping? Vaping is the process of inhaling and exhaling vapors of nicotine and other flavorings produced by a device designed for such purposes. And we just mentioned HNB. So what is this HNB? HNB is heat not burn, which means that inside such a device, heated tobacco and not lighted tobacco is used. Back to the article, all these devices were portrayed to offer a healthier alternative to smoking that would make it easier to quit tobacco. What is the deal with quitting tobacco? What are the health problems caused by tobacco? Tobacco causes more risk of heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, dental issues, vision and hearing loss, in diabetics, the type 2 diabetics, and more. Going back to the article, but the reality is quite different. Instead of such devices being a healthier alternative, they have caused a public health crisis, causing physical harm and affecting the mental well-being of children. Moving on to the next part of the article, a new pandemic. Instead of helping people quit tobacco, the manufacturers of these new age gateway devices have discovered a lucrative or profitable market, which is children. This has led to a surge in youth vaping, creating a new pandemic. For example, according to the CDC, or Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2023, e-cigarettes were the most commonly used tobacco product among the middle and high school students in US, with 2.1 million, that is 7.7% of students using e-cigarettes, including 550,000, that is 4.6% in middle school students. Let me remind you, CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, is America's science-based data-driven service organization which aims at protecting public health. Now back to the article. These devices are now getting a new generation hooked on nicotine and exposing them to potential long-term health consequences. Children have been lured into trying and becoming addicted to e-cigarettes and vaping devices through a targeted marketing of flavors such as strawberry, cotton candy, pop rocks, and lemonade. In addition to alleged predatory marketing tactics, mental health issues and the negative effects of excessive technology use are also driving some children towards these devices. The psychological factor affecting children operate on 2 levels. But before I move on to what are the factors affecting these children, the psychological factors affecting these children, let me remind you or say that this article is written by a clinical psychologist and founder of Happiness Studio, Bhavna Bharni. So, back to the article. The psychological factors affecting children operate on 2 levels. First, children are increasingly susceptible to new age devices from an early age. What was once an adolescent concern for engaging in distracting activities and developing addictive tendencies has shifted, with even those under 10 years now showing signs of vulnerability. The age group most at risk remains between 10 and 20 years old, a demographic that manufacturers allegedly exploit through appealing advertising and enticing vaping flavors. The colorful imagery created by these new age gateway devices suggests that these products will bring happiness and elevate one's social status in the lives of targeted children. In their eagerness to fit in, children often prioritize peer preferences over their own, leading them to embracing vaping and other harmful behaviors. Those who vape are more likely to experience feelings of loneliness and social isolation when compared to their peers who abstain from these. These psychological factors contribute to a troubling surge in children being drawn to enticing electronic devices such as vapes and e-cigarettes. The third part of the article is a gateway to danger. The second aspect is the impact that such habits will have on the physical and mental well-being of children. While physical impacts such as lung damage and the spread of e-cigarette or vaping use associated lung injury, also called EVALI, have become evident, we also need to shine the spotlight on the mental impact on children due to these new age gateway devices. The AIFS, or Australian Institute of Family Studies, an Australian government statutory agency, has said that evidence indicates that vaping has negative effects on people who use e-cigarettes. With increasing rates of e-cigarette usage in Australia and worldwide, such new age devices are associated with mental health challenges such as depressive symptoms, anxiety, perceived stress, and suicide-related behaviors among adolescents. The key factors include friends' positive attitudes towards vaping and also parental smoking. E-cigarettes are highly addictive, particularly for individuals up to the age of 25. This is a developmental stage, which makes them especially vulnerable to structural and chemical changes induced by nicotine addiction. Once addiction takes root, it can increase the likelihood of developing other substance use disorders later in life, thereby creating a cycle. What is inside these new age gateway devices that is causing more addiction? That is something we need to delve deeper into. But we are moving on to the fourth part of the article. It also contains what is inside these new age gateway devices causing such addiction. So, the fourth part, surveys findings. But before I get into the article, let me remind you what are the health consequences of using nicotine. Everybody knows that nicotine is dangerous and highly addictive. It increases the blood pressure, heart rate, blood flow to the heart, narrowing arteries and thickening of arterial wall, and that may lead to heart attack. These are the bad effects of nicotine. So, moving back to the article, the survey's findings. In November 2022, JAMA Network, that is JAMA Network opened, a medical journal published by American Medical Association AMA, revealed after a survey of 150,000 plus respondents that more adolescent e-cigarette users reported using their first tobacco product within 5 minutes of waking when compared to use of cigarettes and other tobacco products combined. This finding highlights the strong grip that nicotine addiction has on the adolescent brain. The study further said that e-cigarettes are highly engineered drug delivery devices designed to create and sustain such an addiction. Later version of e-cigarettes, especially after 2015, started a more efficient delivery of nicotine. The addition of benzoic acid with the chemical formula C7H6O2 or C6H5COOH to the nicotine e-liquid produces protonated nicotine, which enhances the addictive potential by making it easier for users to inhale significant quantities of nicotine, levels that are difficult to achieve with traditional cigarettes or earlier e-cigarette models. This results in highlighted addiction and an increased mental dependency on these devices. Before we move on, let me remind you that benzoic acid is usually used in food preservatives, cosmetics, dyes, antimicrobial preservatives, antifungal things, and tablets and capsule lubricants. So back to the article. So these things result in heightened addiction. These new age gateway devices are also being used to experiment with harder substances such as cannabis and even cocaine and heroin. Many children, teenagers, and even parents mistakenly believe that vaping only involves harmless water vapor and pleasant flavors, which is not reality. The reality is far more sinister and can lead to a lifetime of substance abuse issues.